So we are recording in progress. So like I said, I hope that you all had a lovely Christmas and that you have managed to not overindulge and that your stomach isn't making you suffer for it, which is what's been happening to me. Anybody of you who haven't seen me on Instagram, I did put on yesterday, I did put on 3 poses for overindulgence, which is the wind release pose. We all know that one. And it's a squat, you know, when you squat down and so you kind of like that, but you don't need to have your bum on something. So you like that. And then the other one is just a normal twist, which we're going to do anyway. But we're not going to do the squat, but we will throw the other 2 in. So, like I said, it's a nice and chilled one today. It's just about us kind of like centering ourselves and opening up into the heart. But I wanted to add in a little bit of Reiki today. So we're actually going to start, excuse me, on with what's known as Hatsu Reiho, but we're going to do this in a much more basic way. We're not going to do the full thing because it lasts quite a while. So just make sure that you're seated comfortably to begin, and it's like a cleansing type thing that you can do, and just to bring in some energy. So I want you to take your left hand and take it over towards the right shoulder. And what I want you to do is just brush down the body to the left hip. Imagine as you're doing this that you're just taking away any kind of like negative energy that you might have picked up, especially if you've been around family that you didn't want to be around. You might have a lovely family. Bring the right shoulder to the left. I know that not everybody has. And take that left hand over the body all the way to the right hip. And then you're going to do the same on the other side. Take the left hip over towards the right shoulder. And take that hand over the body back down towards that left hip. So you've done across the body. Now we're going to do across the arm, down towards the tips of the fingers. So take that right hand again, place it onto the left shoulder. But this time you're going to just wipe down the outside and down the front of that arm. So just take that hand all the way down and sweep it off the end of the hand. Take the left hand back over towards the right shoulder. And again, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take that down and sweep it off the right hand. And then you're going to take that right hand back to the left shoulder. And you're going to sweep that down and off the end of that hand. And then I want you to take your palms of your hands and just bring the palms of your hands so they're facing upwards. You don't have to lift them all the way up, but you can if you want. It's up to you. I don't, because obviously I've got that shoulder problem. So just relax the shoulders away from the ears and just draw the chin so it's level with the floor and close the eyes down. Just your position if you're not comfortable sitting here with the legs crossed for this length of time. And all I want you to do is just imagine, if you can, maybe you want to imagine the sun, not that we can see. Oh, there's some blue sky today, so maybe you can imagine the sun up in the sky. Just want you to imagine that you're taking in a beautiful energy from the sun and from the universe, from all of the stars that are out there. I want you to just imagine that you're taking that energy through the palms of the hands, but also through the top of the head, which is your crown chakra. So imagine you're taking this energy and it's just going to really energize you, ready to take you into the new year. So imagining like a channel of white light that's coming through the top of the head, and it's also coming through the palms of the hands. So as you breathe in, imagine you're drawing that in as you breathe in. And as you exhale, imagine you're taking it down to what is known as the dantian. It's like a well that is just a couple of inches below the navel, but into the body. So imagine that's a well that you're going to fill up your well of energy. It may well be depleted from all of the busyness over Christmas and Boxing Day. So breathing in that energy through the top of the head, through the palms of the hands, down into that well. And then as you exhale, imagine that you're taking the energy from that well and you're just letting it flood through the whole of the body, through the tips of the fingers right the way down towards the tips of the toes. So we're going to do 3 deep breaths in that way. Breathe that energy in through the top of the head and the palms of the hands. Imagine it's coming down to the dantian, that little well just below and behind the navel. And when you exhale, imagine you're spreading that energy from that well and it's filling the whole of the body, even into every single cell. Maybe you can imagine every single cell lighting up. So 2 more breaths in that way, breathing in through the top of the head. The palms of the hands all the way down into that well. And as you exhale, you'll let it spread through to the tips of the fingers, tips of the toes, the whole of the body in every single cell. And then one last breath. Taking that energy through the top of the head, through the palms of the hands, flood it through the whole of the body. Exhale, it goes through to every single cell of the body. And now bring the hands into a prayer position at the heart. And what I want you to do now is to bring your focus to the middle fingers, where the tip of the middle fingers touch. And we're going to do 3 more deep breaths. Now I want you to imagine as you breathe in, you're drawing all of that energy through the palms of the hands. Take it back down into that dantian, that well in the body. This time as you exhale, imagine you're letting it go all the way out of the body and spreading as far as you can push it. So exhaling, it goes through the whole of the body and actually spreads your light. So you're going to radiate that energy out to everybody. Maybe you want to choose who you're sending it to, but you can send it to the whole world if you want. So 2 more breaths, breathing in that energy through the palms of the hands this time. Down into your dantian. Exhale, imagine you're spreading it to everybody. So it's going through the whole of the body. You're making yourself a beacon of light. And then the last breath, breathing in, taking that in through the palms of the hands, right the way down into the dantian. And exhaling it, letting it radiate out from your dantian and spreading it far and wide. So you have just literally made yourself into a beacon of light, not just for yourself, but for everybody. So just pause in there for a few moments. When you're ready, place the hands back onto the thighs. Eyes are still closed. I'm just saying a thank you. The universe, maybe you believe in a God, to wherever you were taking that energy from, taking that into a little thank you. And then open the eyes and just give fingers a little bit of a wriggle and give the legs a little bit of a shake. On my YouTube, there is me doing Hatsu Reiho, which is a Reiki energy thing, but anybody can do it. And I'm going to put it on the Instagram. In the new year, I'll do that. So if you want to do it on a regular practice, once a week is a really good thing to do, because that just draws energy into you. So we're going to come up onto our hands and knees just to do a little bit of a warm up, making sure my mat is all straight. When I was doing stuff on this the other day, it kept moving. It was driving me mental. So come up onto your hands and knees. Put your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Your knees are directly underneath your hips. Just take this into a gentle kneeling warm-up. So drop the waist down, taking a deep breath in. Exhale, chin into the chest and stretching up and over the spine. So doing that 2 more times, dropping the waist down, breathing in. Exhale, chin into the chest and stretching up and over the spine. 2 more times, dropping the waist down, breathing in. Exhale, chin into the chest and stretching up and over the spine. And ease yourself back into a neutral position. Straighten that right leg out behind you. I'm too close to that cupboard. Straighten that right leg out behind you, and I just want you to push the heel away. So leaning into it to stretch into the calf muscle. Come back forward. Push that heel away again. So stretching into the calf, then breathe in, and last time, pushing that heel away. So take this right leg and slide it over towards the left again, and just a little bit of a lean, looking over that left shoulder down towards that foot, just to stretch into that right hip and into the right side of the waist. We're not going to be here long. Come back onto the hands and knees, ready for the other side. So again, you're going to step that left foot out and push the heel away. Push that heel so you feel a stretch down the back of that calf muscle. Can't see because my hair's in the way. Again, lean forward, push it again, pushing into that heel and breathing in 1 more time. Exhale, pushing that heel away. Then you're going to take that foot coming back to neutral, slide that left foot over towards the right, and again just a little bit of a look over the right shoulder down to that foot, so you feel that stretch coming into the left side of the waist. Slowly ease yourself back, and I want you now to touch the toes together and widen the knees as wide as the mat. Just be mindful this feels all right for you. Dropping the hips down towards the waist as far as they will comfortably go. I just want you to stretch the fingertips forwards and bring the forehead down towards the floor. If you can't reach here, stay a little bit higher, stay on the elbows. Just pushing the bum down towards those feet might be enough for the body. So we are going to come into a little bit of a gentle twisting child. So lift the torso up so you've got a bit of a space underneath the arms. Take this left hand and slide it underneath the right. Now you may need to stay a little bit higher if you can. Take that shoulder down. Keep reaching these fingertips forwards on that extended arm. Remember, you might not be able to get the shoulder to touch the floor. Just into a gentle twisting child. We're not going to be here long. Slide that forwards again. We're going to do the same on the other side. Take that right arm and slide it underneath. And again, maybe the shoulder will come all the way down to the ground. Maybe it won't. I've not left myself much room here, so it's a little bit harder. And again, only take the shoulder down if that feels okay. Take that forwards again. One last deep stretch into the back. It's like a little bit of a mini down dog. Come back up onto the hands and onto the knees. Now just gently step that right foot forwards, just for a moment. We're just going to come into a little bit of a Ardha Hanuman, a half splits warm up. So tilt the body back so you feel that coming into the hamstring. We're going to do that 2 more times. Breathing in, lean forward. Exhale, tilt that back. Breathing in, lean forward. Exhale, tilt that back. More time. Breathing in, lean forward. Exhale, tilt that back. Just holding that for 2 seconds. And back up. Let that foot go. Bringing that knee back down. Get hold of the back of the other leg. We're going to step that foot forwards. So again, just lean into it so the knee comes over the ankle to begin, then tilt back into that hamstring. 2 more times. Breathing in. Tilt back into the hamstring. Breathing in. Take it forwards. I've already lost count. Nobody to tell me. Exhale. Breathing in into that hamstring. I think this is the last one. I might have done an extra. Breathing in. Exhale again, tilting back into that hamstring. Beautiful. Just for a few moments there. Then again, release that. Let that go in a few circles there. And then when we're ready, we're going to bring ourselves onto our backs. So today is very much about you kind of going into your own mind when we're going to be doing these poses. I'm going to tell you a little bit about these dantians that I was telling you, that I was mentioning before when I said what the dantian was, this well that's in the body. So we're going to start with a goddess pose. You're only going to be in them for about 1.5 minutes. We're not going to be in the poses for a long time today. So coming into goddess, bring the soles of the feet together. And I'm going to give you the option of bringing the arms behind the back and holding on to the elbows here, or just holding on to the wrists to support the lower back. If that's not comfortable, just place the hands either side of the hips. So you're going to lie yourself down. I realise I've got my beads on, which is probably not good. So I'm going to lift my bum up to get my arms underneath my lower back and then soften my bum back down. So it's creating a little bit of a backward bend. So then relaxing the shoulders down and letting the knees drop to the sides. If the knees get too heavy, if you need to support them, do so. If it eventually feels like it's too much, walk the feet away and let the knees drop back towards each other. Remember, if it doesn't feel nice with the arms under the body, release them. Like I said, we're only going to be in this for 1.5 minutes. So these, in Chinese medicine, we've all heard of Reiki. We all know about Reiki. And even though I've done the Reiki, technically speaking, any kind of energetic healing can be done by anybody, whether you've practiced Reiki or not, whether you are a healer or not. you can still work with energy. Anybody can work with energy. In Chinese medicine, there are 3 dantians. There are 3 energy centers in your body, 3 energy centers which control and store your energy and your energetic potential. Now, your lower dantian that we were just working with at 2 inches below the navel, this is the source of energy which builds your physical body and actually allows it to develop and control your ki, your energy, or your chi. It is the first and the original source of ki, and the other energetic channels and the other energetic points and dantians in the body can't be felt or accessed unless this one is full. And quite often we lose our energy so easily, don't we? So if you do ever feel depleted, it's a really good idea to think to yourself, then my lower dantian is probably depleted, therefore I need to give myself energy back before I start giving it out to every Tom, Dick and Harry, which is what we all do on a regular basis. This actually corresponds to the Swadhisthana chakra. Now slowly lift your bum, just release those hands and place those hands for a moment onto your pelvis. Let your knees come back and walk your feet towards the sides of the mat. Let the knees drop towards each other. Now I want you, this is a version of Yoni Mudra that I sometimes use. Let your index finger and thumb create a diamond shape and place it over where you can imagine your womb is, or your pelvic area, and just let the elbows drop back down. So the fingers are probably fanned out a bit over your pelvis. Maybe your thumb's touching more or less where your belly button is. And I just want you to gently press those hands into that area. Yoni Mudra is the mudra of the womb. And I just want you to take a few moments here. We're just going to take our awareness into this area, into this lower dantian. Now let the hands relax now that your hands are in this position and you know where you have brought your focus. And I'm just going to ask you to do something. I just want you to, whatever number comes to your head right now, I want you to focus into this area where the lower dantian is. And I want you just to tell yourself, if you were able to give yourself a percentage of how full your dantian, that well is, how full do you think it is? Give yourself a percentage. If you've immediately thought a really low number, you really do need to focus on yourself. If it was quite high, if it was into the 70s and 80s, you're doing quite well. Don't forget, you've already done a practice to fill it up a little bit. So if it's still quite depleted, you really need, before the new year begins, you have got to focus on revitalizing and re-energizing yourself, nobody else, you. What's that number? Remember it. Because it's up to you to fill it. Take a deep breath in. Exhale fully through the mouth with a sigh. And I want you just to let the hands go from your Yoni Mudra and take those knees into the body, interlace the fingers around those knees and squeezing those knees in. Here's the first of our poses, just for a little bit of overindulgence. Really take those knees in, a little bit of a rock from side to side. So if you're going to do this at home, the best way to do it is actually to take really deep breaths. So I want you to squeeze the thighs in, being still now. Take a deep breath in. Squeeze the belly into the thighs. Exhale fully with a sigh. We're going to do that 2 more times. Breathe deeply and squeeze that belly into the thighs. I hope it's not making anybody feel sick if they've already had their breakfast. Exhale fully through the mouth with a sigh. And 1 more time, breathing in. Really squeeze that belly. Exhale fully through the mouth with a sigh. So to do Apanasana, the wind releasing pose properly, you should really do that 10 breaths. Bring the soles of the feet down, so now you know what to do later on. Bring the hands out the side of the hips and want you to lift your bum from the floor and slide your bum over towards the right. Put a block as you drop those knees down to the left if you need to. If you can, place this left hand on top of that right knee, the outside of it, and slide those knees a bit closer to the body. If the body didn't like that and the left shoulder, the shoulders come right off the floor, take the legs a little bit further away from the body. I'm going to give you an option here. That right hand can rest on the waist if you prefer, or extend it right the way out towards the right hand side with the palm facing up. So again, we're going to be in this just for over a minute. So taking that into gentle breath. So as I said, we have this lower dantian, but then we also have one in the heart known as the middle dantian. And this is the energy created from your food in the air. But this one particularly relates to your emotions and thoughts. And it particularly relates to the Anahata chakra, which of course we all know is the chakra of the heart that works with the thymus glands, and it helps to keep you protected physically, mentally, emotionally. It also helps to keep you healthy, which is exceptionally important. And when this is out of imbalance, problems in the heart and the lungs can ensue. Of course, we all know what happened to me. There we go. My middle dantian and my Anahata chakra clearly were not in balance because of the particular cancer that I picked up. So it really is important to keep your heart in balance. Now I want you to take a deep breath in. Exhale fully through the mouth of the sigh. And then very carefully begin to take those knees back to the center. And the hands back out the side of the hips. Recenter yourself again. My mat's moving. Thank you very much, Matt. So the bum's back in the middle, feet, knees together, lift your bum up, slide your bum over towards the left. Again, take the knees down to the right, supporting them with a cushion or a block if you wish. Again, the closer you take the knees, the deeper the stretch in the hip. Hand can be placed on that thigh, or you take the feet a little bit further away from the body so it's easier. Left hand can rest on the waist or extend it out to the left, depends on what feels right for you. So again, find your pose. You're going to be in it just over a minute. Find your pose. And then when you're in your pose, you're going to allow yourself to be completely still. So it's so important with this this middle dantian, because as I was saying, if the lower dantian is not sufficiently full, then the energy cannot be drawn into the heart or into the third of the dantians, which is in the space between the eyebrows, just above the eyebrows. So this is why it's so important for you to keep your energetic levels up. And in modern day times, and I'm talking 2020, 2021, it's actually quite difficult to keep your energetic levels up. So the practices that you used to use, be them yoga, be them, I don't know, watching nice films, going to the cinema, it could be anything, might not work as well as they used to. So it might be that you need to add something new in. Maybe it's chanting, maybe it's going for walks in nature, maybe it's spending time with pets. I mean, it can be whatever suits you, but you might actually find going into the new year that you need to adapt what you do to fill up your dantian, to fill up your energetic levels. Just be mindful of that you might be needing to change or add to what's always worked before. So take a deep breath in. And exhale fully through the mouth of the sigh. Very carefully ease your way back to the center. And again, take those knees in, just hug those knees into the chest. Squeeze in that belly one last time, a little bit of a rock. from side to side on that back. And then when we're ready, we're going to roll over onto the side. I'm going to bring ourselves now up onto our hands and onto our knees to walk ourselves towards the back of the mat. We're going to come into a little bit of a cobra series, focusing a little bit now onto that middle dantian, what we were just talking about, that energy center that is in the heart. Just let yourself very, very carefully start to sink down onto the front of the belly. Take the hands either side of the head as you bring the forehead down, so the thumbs are pointing to your ears. Feet are about hips width apart. So take a deep breath in, roll the shoulders away from the ears. Slowly take the gaze forwards, push the hands into the mat, and lifting the body up only as far as is comfortable for you. Exhale, slowly release that body back down. So we're going to do that 2 more times. Breathing in to lift. As you close your eyes, focusing on that heart, that chakra in the heart center. Exhaling, release, and that middle dantian that needs to be filled. Breathing in. Exhaling, slowly release. And then last time, breathing in. Exhale, gently releasing. Bring the forehead back down. Slide those hands now down towards the shoulders. Elbows are pointing towards the back of the mat. So again, I'm going to breathe in, lift. You may not find you can lift as high. Just take that as far as the body allows. Exhale, slowly release that back down. Remember, keep the hands further forwards if this is too much. Breathing in to lift. Exhaling to release back down. And last time, breathing into it. And exhaling, slowly release. Now I'm going to give us an option here. Just take the arms into crocodile. Take both arms to make pillows and rest the forehead there. So I'm going to give you the option just to stay here for a few moments in crocodile. If you really want to wake your back up a little bit, this is quite a strong pose. So please only do this if it feels okay for you. It's not going to be a lifting one. Once we're up, we're going to hold it just for 10 seconds. Stay here if you prefer, but if you want to be a little bit more dynamic, slide the hands down as far as they will go, probably to about the in between the chest and the waist. Slowly push the hands into the mat and straighten up into the arms, letting those hips just gently soften down to the ground. Like I say, we're only going to hold this for about 10 seconds. It's a strong one in the back. The wrists might not appreciate us for this, so let's just be really gentle. And exhaling very carefully, soften that body back down again. Again, make those pillows, this time with the hands, forehead resting, a little bit of a shake from side to side with the body. And I want you just to start now to roll over onto the side of the body. We're going to come into a half bow. So propping the head up with the arm, we're going to get hold of this foot. And I just want you to pull the heel into that bum to start off with. So roll this right shoulder back, pull the heel into the bum. We're only going to do this for 10 seconds either side. And then slowly push that hip forwards as you push that foot into the hand, just arching down that side of the body. Really opening into the heart. Eyes are closed, just focusing again on that heart chakra. Everything that we need just to bring energy into this space. And slowly release that. And very carefully, I'm going to roll onto my other side. You can just roll over onto the other side of the back. And then again, roll onto your other side, prop the head up. Make sure that feels comfortable. Almost like you're going to bed. That's what you're going to lie down like. Again, you're going to get hold of this left foot this time. To start off with, you just pulling the heel into the bum as you roll this left shoulder back, opening into that heart, closing the eyes down, letting the focus come into the heart center. So you're focusing on really opening into this side of the body, At the same time, when we're in this pose, we're opening into the lower dantian and middle dantian together. So to push that foot back into that hand. So feeling that energy, maybe you can even imagine that energy is coming from the lower dantian up into the middle. If there's enough in the lower, if you're in a very lower percentage, you know that your focus needs to be on filling that energetic center first. Again, just 10 seconds here. Take a deep breath in, exhale, carefully release that. And again, just very carefully softening onto the back again. I'm going to take those knees in, put your hands onto your knees, and I want you to make really big circles. As you pull the knees towards you, the lower back will massage into the floor. As you take the knees away into a big circle, it'll take the back into neutral. So just doing a few of those there, as you just soften out from that backward bend. Then take those knees in, squeeze them in, take a deep breath in, take the nose up to the knees, and a little bit of a rock from side to side there, just to massage out into that lower back that we were just working on. Very carefully place the head back down, place the feet back down. You're going to roll onto the side of the body, and you're going to take yourself up, back, and around, on to the hands and on to the feet. Onto the hands and feet, onto the hands and knees. Hands directly underneath the shoulders again, knees underneath the hips. So keeping the neutral spine, don't drop the waist down here, just tuck the navel in and stretch into the back. So we did quite a few backward bends there, so breathing in for that middle dantian. Exhale, chin to the chest, stretching up into that spine. And one more time, breathing in. And exhale, chin into the chest and stretching up and over that spine. Now you're going to start to turn sideways on your mat. We're going to come into what's known as a reverse gate, also known as a wheel pose. So I want you to step the left foot out towards the side, and then you're going to come up and put your hands onto your waist. And yes, I've just realised that I have chopped the slight top of my head off. Probably should have moved the camera back a little bit. So this leg, left leg, is straightened out, so it's in line with that knee at the front. Take this right hand down to the floor. I'm going to give you the option to stay here, but if you can just roll the shoulder back, the hand can stay on the waist. But if you can, you're going to draw this arm up and over the head. Just allow it to drape over the head. Gaze can be up or gaze can be down. It's got to be right for you. It's quite a strong one in a reverse gate. Or like I said, also known as a wheel pose. Quite a strong pose. We're going to be here for 10, 20 seconds. So breathing into that space in the heart. Gentle breaths. And slowly sweep that arm forwards, take that knee back in. And just for a moment, sliding those hands forwards, just into a bit of a stretch before we come into the other side. Come back onto the hands and knees. Get your balance in order to straighten the right leg out now. Get those fingers in again. Bring them up the body. Hands to the waist, just to make sure that you're balanced here. Left knee directly underneath the left hip. Right leg extended, toes pointing whatever direction feels right for that ankle. Once you have your balance, left hand again coming down. Right arm is going to drop over the head or stay on the waist with the shoulder drawn back. Depends on what the body allows. Again, extending that arm out, the arm draping over the head. Gentle breaths with that body. Feeling that beautiful openness into your reverse gate. Taking that into the middle dantian. and into the lower dantian. All this energy revitalizing you. Very carefully again, take those hands forward, slide that knee back in. Just a gentle, extended child's pose. When you're ready, you're going to take those hands back in again. You're going to come into a seated position, just straightening those legs out. Give those legs a little bit of a shape there. So we're going to come into cow face pose. Now, I'm going to give us the option to do the nice easy version here. I am going to sit on a block because for me it's better to sit on something. So I'm going to sit on a bolster. Do not need to sit on a bolster. So depending on what you're like here, if you prefer, bring both soles of the feet onto the floor instead. If you're okay to come into this, we're doing the half version. Straighten that left leg out and take this right foot, cross it over the left leg and bring it in towards the left hip. So this right knee is just on top of that left. Just for a moment, put the hands onto that knee. Check that you are sitting upright. And this is as far as you need to go. If you don't want to go any further, you can just stay here. So we're going to take the right arm up first. So easy version. Put the right hand on top of the head and just place the left hand behind your torso. This is still lifting this arm. You're still working into the heart. You don't have to go any further than that. If you want to take it further, try and walk the hands towards each other so the fingertips touch or grasp. Remember, that might not be suitable for you. If it isn't, hand on top of the head, other hand behind the body. Listen to what the body is telling you to do. You may be able to get hold of fingertips. You may not. It's not a competition. So we're only doing what feels right for us. Just gentle breaths in your cow face pose. So as we begin to move now into the upper dantian. And the upper dantian is located at the center point, just higher than the eyebrows. And this is related to our spirit and consciousness. And this is actually related to the Ajna chakra, the third eye. It's where we begin to realize that it's not just us, that we are part of a much greater and higher consciousness. It's not just our consciousness. It's like our consciousness is just one tiny stitch amongst a whole, well, what's the word? Tapestry of stitches, all creating one huge universe. I think I've got on Instagram, it's like one, you are both the drop in the ocean and the ocean itself. That is where the Ajna chakra takes us, the realization that we are part of a greater whole. I'll take a deep breath in. Exhale fully through the mouth of the sigh. Slowly release and release that leg and those legs a little bit of a shape. Ready to come on to the other side. So again, if you didn't like doing that with the legs, just bring the soles of the feet onto the floor. As long as you're sitting upright, that's all that matters. If you're okay with this, straighten the right leg, take the left foot over it and bring the left foot towards the right hip. My left hip has just said, obviously got an issue with my left hip at the moment. Make sure that you're comfortable holding on to those knees again. Relax the shoulders, lifting the chin so it's level with the floor, and just taking a moment here before we start moving into the arms, making sure that we feel centered and comfortable here with the legs before we make any moves to take it deeper. So when you're ready again, that left hand is going to go on top of the head, right hand behind the body. This is the easy version. You don't need to try and take those hands together, but if you wish, slide that left hand down the back, walk that right hand up, and maybe you can touch the fingers. Maybe you've just discovered one side is much easier than the other. That's absolutely fine. Put the hand back on the head, put the lower hand back onto the lower waist, which is exactly what I'm going to do because my shoulder said no. So listen to what the body says. with gentle breaths. Maybe you want to take your awareness while you're in this pose into the space between the eyebrows. Maybe you want just to take the awareness into that upper dantian. So if we haven't filled the lower one, then we are neglecting both the heart dantian and the third eye dantian, because they cannot be filled and utilized effectively if the lower dantian is not sufficiently full. So it's very much about, if we haven't looked after ourselves with the lower dantian energy, then how can you give your emotion and your focus and thought to others if you are not sufficiently nurtured yourself? It is important to focus on nurturing ourselves before we give, otherwise we deplete ourselves, and when we deplete ourselves, we are the ones who become ill. We'll take a deep breath in and exhale fully through the mouth and the side. And very carefully release those arms, shake those shoulders, make big circles with those shoulders, let those legs go, and just bring those soles of the feet onto the floor. Now I want you to interlace those fingers in front of you, just push the hands away as you lean back, and take the hands behind you, interlace them behind you, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and again this time we're pushing the hands away behind the body. And then carefully release the arms. And I want you just, if you're on a block, just to let that go. So we're going to come now into, just checking my mat has moved again, into Baddha Konasana. So bring the soles of the feet together. Slide them in. I'm going to do that facing the mat, facing actually. So slide these feet in. I want you just to hold on to the ankles. This is like, instead of coming into our squat pose, just gently push those knees away. We're going to do that 3 times. Breathe in. Exhale, pushing those knees away. Last time, breathing in. And exhale, pushing those knees away. And slowly release that. Straighten those legs out. Give those legs a bit of shape. So we're going to come into spinal twist now. So straightening those legs out to the length of the mat. I'm going to be in this for just over a minute. So this is a really good time for us just to focus, just to allow ourselves to take that awareness into this upper dantian. Slide that left leg in. Again, it's another one for the belly, for overindulgence. Right leg, toes pointing up towards the ceiling. So you've got the option to keep this knee in. If you're okay crossing it, cross it over to the other side. Heel is flat to the floor. So keeping this knee drawn in towards the torso, you're going to turn towards it. So the right arm is going to draw this knee in, hold it with the hand or the elbow. This left arm is going behind the body. You're going to breathe in to lift and exhale to twist in towards that knee. Turn around so I can be seen. So breathing in to lift and exhaling to twist. Let the shoulder drop away from the ear, chin is level with the floor, and taking that breath. There is a way we can increase our energy in the dantians. The simple things. Taking your awareness to this space. So the awareness at the moment is on this space between the eyebrows. Allowing our breathing to be regular, sufficient, deep into the belly as well as into the heart. One of the most important things you can do to maintain the energy in the lower dantian, which then fills the other two, is the practice that we began with, the Hatsu Reiho, even though it's an adaptive practice and it is more focusing on taking energy into the body rather than the Reiki, because obviously not everybody has done the Reiki. As I said, anybody can tap into energetic potential. So just for our last 3 breaths, I want you to take your awareness back down into your lower dantian. As you're breathing in, take that energy down into there. Exhale, flooding the body with that energy. 2 more breaths in this way. Breathing in, taking that energy down into that lower dantian, which will be being squeezed at the moment. Take your awareness into it. Exhale, flooding it into the whole of the body. And then last time, breathing that energy into the lower dantian. And exhale, flooding it into the body. And slowly, just for a moment, twist in the opposite direction. And releasing those legs. Give those legs a little bit of a shake. And then we're going to come on to the other side. So straightening now into that right leg. You're going to take, straightening into that left leg. You're going to take the right leg in. Cross that leg over only if the body suits. Hold on to the knee just to check that you are comfortable and upright here. Then when you're ready, right hand's going to come behind you to support you. You're going to breathe in to lift. Exhale to twist towards that leg. Remember, you're going to take that in as close as is comfortable for you. You can hug the knee or hold it with the hand. It's got to feel right for you. Once you're there, breathing in, lift towards the top of the head. Posture is so important in looking after the dantians. And again, exhale. And then just start to take your awareness back down to your lower dantian. I want you to breathe. Every time you're breathing, you're imagining that you are taking all of that energetic potential into that lower dantian. Maybe even you want to take the awareness just to top yourself up from wherever you took your energy source from. Maybe it was the sun. Maybe it was the stars. Maybe it was the universe. Maybe you believe in a God. Well, imagine that it's God that's giving you all of that energy. Take it through the top of the head as you're breathing in. And filling and flooding that lower dantian with each breath in. All of that energetic potential. With each breath, you're taking it in right the way down to that lower dantian. Filling it, flooding it, maybe with the exhalation, flooding that energy through to the other 2 dantians, the one in the heart and the space between the eyebrows. Only if you feel the lower dantian is full enough to do so. Breathing that energy in through the top of the head down to the dantian. Exhale, flooding it up into the heart and into the space between the eyebrows. The other 2, only if you feel that the lower one is sufficient. One last breath. Let that energy from the top of the head down into the lower dantian. And exhale, taking that into the heart and back into the space between the eyebrows. Very carefully release that twist. Just taking that into the opposite direction. And then when you're ready, straightening those legs out. Just giving those legs a little bit of shape. So before we come into our Shavasana, because time is creeping up, it always does, we're going to take this into a nice, gentle forward bend. So I want you to you're going to be in this for just under 2 minutes. So I want you to slide the feet in. We're going to do this in a nice, easy position. Shuffle your bum back, and knees can be bent doing this. You can even support them if you want with a block, because you're going to be doing this nice and gently. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Just let your belly start to soften. Now, maybe you want to rest your hands on your ankles or your shins. Maybe you want to hold onto your big toes and let your arms drop either side. Maybe you want to rest your hands on your feet. Maybe you want to rest your head onto your hands. Find what feels right for you. Sometimes I like to bring my hands, interlace them, bring the thumbs together, even index fingers pointing, so we're actually in the Sepana mudra, and I press my thumbs to the space between my eyebrows. Just let my arms rest onto the shins, and then I can push my thumbs into the space between the eyebrows, and my other fingers are actually touching my forehead. If that doesn't feel right for you, you don't have to do that here. Maybe you just want to relax the arms and let the whole of the torso just soften over that body. Just allowing yourself to come and move into your forward bend wherever feels right for you. And if you want, you can even start to straighten the legs out a little bit. Find what feels right for you. And just those final and gentle breaths in your forward bend. You have just over 30 seconds remaining in this pose. Maybe just for your last 20 seconds, taking that awareness back down into the lower dantian as you breathe in. Really allowing that to fill. The exhalation, flooding it into the other two. And then 2 final breaths, breathing in, taking that into the lower dantian. Exhale, flooding it back into the other two, the one in the heart, the one in the space between the eyebrows, and then finally breathing in. Get that energy down into the lower dantian. And exhale, flood it through into the heart, into the space between the eyebrows. And very carefully, on your next exhalation, just start to take those hands back in towards the body, coming back into a seated position, straightening those legs out. Just give those legs a little bit of a shake. Place the palms of the hands down so you can lean back a bit and just put the soles of the feet on the floor. I just want you to very carefully sway the knees from side to side. That's all you're doing in your windscreen wipers. And we're going to move back now into the position, in the semi-supine position, with our hands in our yoni mudra. So that was the variation of yoni, where the thumbs were touching, the index fingers were touching, the fingers were spread out, and you put that over your womb, over your lower dantian. So before we come into our shavasana, we are just going to come into this position. So again, bring yourself onto the back, lift your bum up, soften the lower back into the floor, walk your feet towards the sides of the mat. Don't need to be all the way to the side of the mat, towards the side of the mat, so that both feet drop in towards each other, slightly pigeon-toed, toes slightly towards each other. And when you're comfortable here, the feet where it feels nice and comfortable there, take those hands back into yoni, back into your diamond shape. Place the thumbs just below the navel or just on the navel, and then again rest those hands back onto that space. Fan the fingers out so they're spreading over the pelvic area. And again, taking your awareness back into that lower dantian. And I want you just to let your awareness fully focus here again. This lower dantian, this original source of the ki, or the chi, or the prana, whatever it is that you wish to call it. This, remember, is your center for power. And maybe you remember what percentage it felt like at the beginning, even though it was after the Hatsu Reiho. Now I want you just to take a really deep breath in. Feel that energy center. Feel that well that's within you. And exhale fully through the mouth with a sigh. And again, have a thought. What percentage does it feel now? Is it the same? Does it feel as if it's a little bit more full? Remember that number. And if it does, if it has grown, that's you that did that. You, by your yoga practice, by your own focus, by your intention, which is always the crucial thing. It's your intention. You created that difference. And when you are ready, take a deep breath in. And slowly as you exhale, bring your body into a position that is comfortable for you for Shavasana. Adjust yourself, your blanket, your clothes or your position so that you can practice yoga and nidra without moving, with no physical discomfort. Using cushions, blankets, blocks, whatever it is that you need to use to make sure that you are comfortable and still. And close your eyes and keep them closed. And now give yourself time to become calm and steady. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in, feel calmness spreading throughout the whole body. As you're breathing out, say to yourself mentally, relax, relax, relax. And become aware of sounds in the distance. Become aware of the most distant sounds that you can hear. Let your sense of hearing operate like a radar beam, searching out distant sounds and following them for a few seconds. To move your attention from sound to sound without attempting to identify the source. Gradually bring your attention to closer sounds. Sounds inside the house, inside the room. And develop an awareness of the room in which you are in, without opening your eyes. Visualize the floor, your body, ceiling, your body lying on the floor beneath the ceiling. Awareness of the wall, the floor, your body lying on the floor. Become aware of the existence of your physical body lying on the floor. Total awareness of your body lying in perfect stillness. Your body is lying on the floor. Develop an awareness of all of the physical points between your body and the floor. And now become aware of your breath, your natural, spontaneous breath. But do not concentrate, for this will interfere with the natural process. Keep on listening to me and know that you are breathing. Now this is the time to make your resolve, your sankalpa, a simple resolve, a simple promise. Maybe as simple as I am happy, I am calm, I am well. Maybe I am nurtured. Please state your resolve in the space between your eyebrows with feeling and awareness 3 times. Now I want you to take your awareness to the body. As quickly as possible, as I name parts of the body, let the awareness jump from point to point and simultaneously become aware of that part. The practice always begins with the right hand. Right hand thumb, second finger, third, fourth, fifth finger, back of the hand, palm of the hand, right wrist, lower arm, elbow, upper arm, right shoulder, collarbone, right side of the chest, right side of the waist, right hip, thigh, knee, shin, calf muscle, right ankle, heel, sole of the right foot, top of the right foot, right big toe, second, third, fourth, fifth toe. Go to the left hand thumb, second finger, third, fourth, fifth finger, back of the hand, palm of the hand, left wrist, lower arm, elbow, upper arm, left shoulder, collarbone, left side of the chest, left side of the waist, left hip, thigh, knee, shin, calf muscle, left ankle, heel, sole of the left foot, top of the left foot, left big toe, second, third, fourth, fifth toe. Go to the top of the head, the forehead, the right temple, the left temple, space between the eyebrows, the right eyebrow, left eyebrow, right eyelid, left eyelid, the space between the eyelids, right cheek, left cheek, right nostril, left nostril, the tip of the nose, upper lip, lower lip, right side of the jaw, the left side of the jaw, the chin, the throat, the middle of the chest, the navel, the lower dantian. Breathing the energy into the lower dantian, With each breath, feel the belly rise. Feel the well overflow with the energy created from your practice. With your exhalation, like a tsunami, allow that energy to flood from the lower dantian up into the heart and into the space between the eyebrows. Breathing in again, allow the lower dantian to expand in the belly. Feel it rising like a wave, rising like a tsunami, rising. As you exhale, flood that energy from the lower dantian up into the heart and into the space between the eyebrows, the middle and the upper dantians. Continue with this breath, breathing into the belly. Feel the lower dantian flood and expand and lift like a tsunami wave, lifting with the energy rising and rising in the belly. As you exhale, the energy floods up and into the middle heart dantian, into the space between the eyebrows, the upper dantian. Breathing again that energy as the belly rises, breathing into the lower dantian. Let it rise like a tsunami. Exhale, flooding and filling that overflooding energy into the heart and into the space between the eyebrows. And then allow the awareness just to move back into a gentle and natural, spontaneous breath. Breath is rising and the breath is falling. The breath is rising and the breath is falling. Now begin to take your attention into the chest area, into the area we know as Anahata. I want you to imagine a small green light there. Tiny green light in your heart center. Imagine it swirling around like a little whirlpool. Try to notice how it feels, how it looks. Try to get a sense of how it is functioning. Are any thoughts popping into your head? Is it swirling and moving? Is it fast or is it slow? Is it a small, tiny light, or is it grown bigger into an enlarged light in your chest? Is there any other colors flooding around it? Or can you see any colors in your mind's eye? Visualize again that little green light in your chest. And watch as the green glow starts to gently spread out and get bigger and bigger and bigger as it spins. Bring your attention again to your breathing. You're breathing in and you're breathing out. You're breathing in and you're breathing out. As you breathe in, visualize yourself breathing in this emerald green light down into your chest. With every in-breath, you pull in more fresh green light, filling the heart chakra and the whole of the body. As you exhale, it spreads out far and beyond your body. As you breathe in, the green light down into your arms and your hands, your pelvis, your legs and your toes. As you breathe in this green light, it floods the whole of your body, filling your entire body, connecting to every chakra within you. As you exhale, allow that green light to flood beyond your physical body, radiating into the space in your aura, healing and lighting up anything that may not have been healed so far. Now focus again on your chest, on that swirling green light in your heart chakra. Focus only on this. Watch as it spins, slowly or quickly. Maybe it spins quicker and slower, and quicker and slower. Notice how this light is. Now visualize in the center of this spinning green light a small pink rosebud. One petal at a time. Allow this pink rosebud to unfurl slowly, opening out into a beautiful pink flower surrounded by a spinning, radiating, glowing green light. Imagine now that you are safe to open your heart center, to give and receive love. See that rosebud blossoming and opening as a beautiful green light spins around and around this open heart chakra. Repeat to yourself, my heart chakra is working perfectly for me. My heart chakra is working perfectly for me. My heart chakra is working perfectly for me. Now allow your awareness to move back into the breath, into the gentle rising and falling of the breath. As the breath rises, the belly rises. As the breath falls, the belly falls, rising and falling with each breath. Now allow your awareness now to move into the space between your eyebrows. To this space, third eye. Allow yourself to see whatever it is that comes to the mind, whatever thoughts that come. Maybe it's colors, Maybe it's images. Whatever thoughts that intuitively and instinctively come to you. Maybe even from your subconscious or your higher dimension thought, your higher consciousness, a message comes. Focus on this space between the eyebrows and listen to your higher consciousness speak to you. Maybe it is stillness, quiet, peace, and tranquility. Or maybe a thought creeps into your mind. Whatever that is, hold on to it. May be important. To allow your awareness to focus on this space. Any darkness or phenomena that manifests within it. Just allow the mind to follow and watch. Maybe even colors will emerge, or shapes, or lights. Just let the awareness rest on this space. Silently in your own mind, saying to yourself, my third eye chakra is working perfectly for me. My third eye chakra is working perfectly for me. My third eye chakra is working perfectly for me. And let go of this space. And let your awareness return to your resolve, to your simple resolve. One that you said at the beginning of your yoga nidra. Maybe you have your own, maybe you chose one of the ones I suggested. I am happy, I am calm, I am nurtured. And repeat this again 3 times with feeling and emphasis. And take deep breath in and exhale fully through the mouth with a sigh. Very carefully, in your own time, begin to wriggle back into your fingers and into your toes. Do whatever it is that your body is asking you to do. Whatever the body needs you to do. Then when you are ready, bring yourself back up into a comfortable seated position. Bring your hands back into a prayer position at the heart center and slightly drop your head. Before we end, take your awareness back down into the lower dantian. Just a little bit, a couple of inches into the body and a couple of inches below the navel. So that was where that area was. the lower dantian. And maybe today again, focus on just keeping that topped up, and maybe go back to this recording. You can do it on the Google Drive, because I will have to keep the recordings on Google Drive within the next few days. I will have to stop the Zoom, so do make sure that you give me your Google Drive so I can give you access to all 4 recordings. And before we finish, I hope you have a beautiful new year. I hope 2022 brings you joy